guys, today I have with me Ms. Devpriya Khanna. She is the founder and managing partner at Conexus Global. Welcome Ms. Khanna.
Thank you. Thank you for having me here.
So she's somebody who is not just an entrepreneur herself, but is also empowering the other entrepreneurs out there. So let's get into this conversation and know more about her journey. So, you call yourself an accidental entrepreneur. So what was the turning point when you decided to become an entrepreneur?
Well, I've had a very long corporate career of 18 years, and during that corporate career, never for a minute did I think that I would become an entrepreneur, because I just loved what I did. Also, my entire family is a corporate family. I'm the only entrepreneur. So I never ever thought that I'd be an entrepreneur. Um, so I was building brands and very successful in my leadership journey as well. But there were some personal milestones that I hit, because of which I had to sit back and take some time off a very hectic career that I had. And at that point in time, I realized there was a time when I realized that I don't see myself going back into the corporate world, because there were, as women, we face a lot of challenges in terms of health. And also I had my two daughters 11 years apart, and there was this one preteen and there was a newborn baby, and I said that okay, there's no way in which I can get back to the corporate career that I had, which was like 15 days on a flight, traveling, living in hotels, and the children are at home. So I took a conscious call and I said that fair enough, I will hang up my corporate boots, but I will continue doing something that helps other entrepreneurs and build that sort of a business around.
That's really enticing to hear how you turn your challenges into opportunities for yourself. Also at the same time, bootstrapping is no easy feat. So what were the challenges, like the initial ones that you faced when you decided that I want to be an entrepreneur?
So the whole point about bootstrapping is that you don't want to waste your money, because it's very precious money. You have to have a strategy in place. So a lot of people, they sort of they say it's very good saying that you jump and then you open your parachute. What if the parachute doesn't open? You'll crash land. So for me, it was about opening, literally figuring out the levers of the parachute before I decided to jump. I was very strategic. I literally run, even today I run my business like I used to run my corporate journey, working with those companies. So I have an Excel sheet. Everything is monitored on Excel sheets. How much will I spend? How much, what revenue will come in? So you have to have a very planned approach. You can't just get into it without a plan and a strategy.
So can you take me through the journey of Conexus Global, how it happened and what does it do?
So Conexus Global Ventures was a pandemic baby. And it was during the pandemic that I came in contact with many women entrepreneurs, some of them older women entrepreneurs, not just in India, but also in the UK. And I saw that their challenges are pretty similar, regardless of geography. They were all struggling with things like access to funds, access to mentorship, access to understanding about how to get into international markets. And Conexus was born as my need to do something for these women, because their challenges were pretty similar. These are also women who are older women, not necessarily born into the digital age, but the pandemic offered them an entire opportunity of taking their businesses global from the comforts of their home. They were not really aware of digital transformation. And at Conexus, we said, okay, we'll be that hand that will facilitate and guide and help more women-led businesses go global. So that's what we deliver. And our pillars are basically knowledge, network, and visibility. We deliver on knowledge. We have a fabulous board of mentors, and they're the best, and they're very heart-centered as well. So at any point in time, the mentorship that they offer to our members is world-class. Visibility, we offer them a lot of speaking platforms, social media coverage, events, helping them come and meet. Like, so many of my community members have come to this Thai event and they're meeting so many people. And networks, global networks. So we've opened up the world to them. So that's what we do at Conexus.
Devpriya, you are somebody who is rooted in India and has great connect over UK. So I want to understand from you. You have spoken about the business challenges that one faces through her journey, but at the same time, like there are lots of cultural challenges that we face in India. So how is it different from UK?
I think very well spotted and a very good question. So the whole cultural sensitization forms a large part of our accelerator program. And even when we consult one-on-one the businesses, we help them understand the cultural nuances. Like, in India, things are sort of changing now, but India is more relationship based. You do business with people, you feel warm about, the trust factor is very high. In UK, of course, all of these are important, but they pay more attention to quality, punctuality, having a robust business plan. I would say maybe sometimes they're more professional. So what we do is we create a cross-pollination of cultures. We help Indians understand the British culture, and we help British entrepreneurs to understand how it is to do business in a country which is so driven by culture and relationships and emotions like India.
Just a personal question, when we are talking about culture. You are a mother, you are an entrepreneur, you're a wife, you are a daughter, like you are, like tied in a lot of relationships, and then you are running a successful business also. So how is it managing all together, and what is Devpriya's mantra to keep going?
So my mantra, I'll say that first, is to every woman, I want to say that yes, you can have it all, but maybe not all at the same time. And how I manage is that, I delegate a lot, and I'm a very planned and organized person, but I'm also very impulsive in the sense that, in my heart, if I feel that I can manage everything, I actually do end up managing everything. I've brought up my children in a way that they are very self-reliant, and we have a very strict framework of rules, but within that framework, they thrive on their own. So yeah, I think experience has been a great teacher as well.
Also, like we are, I can say that we are little privileged that we are in a society where we have been in corporates and now in entrepreneurship. So we have that bit of knowledge. But then a lot of my audience is from tier 2 and tier 3 cities. When we focus on those cities, females, when they want to become something, when they want to maybe get into entrepreneurship, it is like the first, step is very difficult for them. Just to tell somebody that I want to do this. So what will be your advice to those who are sitting out there and have dreams in their eyes?
Get mentorship. Become part of communities and platforms. Find a mentor who will really guide you on that journey. I think that's the best way, and ask for help. And to every woman out there, regardless of whether you're in a big town or a small town, never give up on your dreams, because if you have a plan, God will make it possible. And just don't lose hope, go for it, keep going for it, and the universe is up there listening.
Also, and as somebody who champions visibility and branding, so what, according to you, are the 3 mistakes that most women entrepreneurs end up doing?
Succumbing to imposter syndrome, because as women, we are second guessing ourselves. We think we are not good enough. It's that voice in our head that holds us back. So I think silence that voice in your head and overcome imposter syndrome. Take a bet on yourself, build your own brand. You heard me saying that, and I can't stress on it enough. And build a good support system, at work and at home. So these are the 3 tips that I have worked beautifully for me, and they work very well for my mentees as well.
Among these, you have, like I have seen you talking about imposter syndrome before as well. So how do you manage with it?
It's not easy, because even at this stage of my life, with so many years of corporate experience and entrepreneurial experience, building businesses across borders and everything, one would think that I'd be like, imposter syndrome wouldn't exist. But every now and then it rears its ugly head. So you just have to be mindful about it and label it. Okay, feel all the feelings. I can never say that you'll stop feeling imposter syndrome. If you're feeling imposter syndrome coming on, feel it, give it a label, and say, you know what, let's put you aside for a bit, because I'm confident, I'm strong, and I won't let imposter syndrome come in the way. Long back, I'd seen this visual, of a very powerful big horse, and that horse is just tied with a small thread to a plastic chair, which is probably a percentage of its body weight. But that horse doesn't know. The horse thinks that he's tied. Now, the horse only needs to take a step and the chair will go flying. Horse doesn't know that. Horse thinks the horse is tied. So we tend to become like those horses. It's all in our mind. We just need to take that step and our obstacle will just fall aside.
So coming to my last question, you have won multiple leadership awards. So what according to you takes to become a successful women leader in today's business ecosystem?
A lot of things. But if you ask me for a few things, I think you have to work on your business every single day. So you have to treat your business with all the seriousness that you would treat it if you were working in a job. Because if you don't take yourself seriously and if you don't take your business seriously, nobody else will. So it has to start from you. Yes, fine, you can have off days, fair enough, but you have to really go at it like it's a serious job. Okay, but prioritize self-care, because if you burn out, then there'll be nobody who will take the reins and run it for you. So these are the two things I think people, and there are many others. Invest in yourself, invest in your knowledge. Women don't invest in themselves. They will buy jewelry, they'll buy clothes, they'll invest in their children's birthday parties, education, everything. But if you ask them to invest in upskilling themselves, really going in for the programs and the networks that would give them that edge, women don't do that enough. So I would say, women, you must invest in yourself, in your own, use your own money, invest in your own self, and your growth will be boundless.
All right, thank you so much for your insightful thoughts, Deepriya. I hope that this will help the other entrepreneurs who are aspiring to do something big. Thank you.